So now to the Eukanuba World Challenge. The final is going to be held this evening and judged by Enrique Filippini from Argentina. Yesterday, 4 judges tackled 4 individual sections. From the UK, Zena Thorne-Andrews. From Switzerland, Barbara Müller. From Hungary, Thomas Jakel. And from India, Sivi Sudasan. Now, in the big ring yesterday, for those of you who were watching us streaming live last night, you will have seen that each of the 4 judges selected 3 dogs in no particular order to go forward to give us a final competition of 12 dogs. This is the 5th Eukanuba World Challenge. Dogs from 42 different countries were present here. And these have now been whittled down to 12. I wonder who is going to walk off with this year's title.
The Eukanuba World Challenge uniquely brings together top dogs from more than 43 countries around the world.
Over the last 3 days, I've been spending time with the exhibitors, many of them who've been traveling for 2 days with their dogs to compete in the Eukanuba World Challenge. And I know how much this means to them and how grateful they are to Eukanuba for the wonderful hospitality they've received here in Orlando, and also for the opportunity to showcase their wonderful dogs to the American exhibiting public.
Eukanuba Global Marketing Director, Mr. Jose Luis Ibanez, Eukanuba World Challenge Project Manager, Mr. John Lyon.
Into the ring now, we see Ron Manica.
Santiago, Vice President of the FCI, and Mr. George Onashenko, President, Ukrainian Kennel Union.
We don't see Ron Manica. I thought Ron was joining us for this one, but we have
Argentina, please welcome International Judge
David Minifie, Jose Luis. Now Ron's coming in. Ron's got the job of bringing in the judge, Enrique Filippini.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are thrilled to present
Along with David Minifie, Jose Luis Ibanez, George Onashenko. And here's our first dog. Our first finalist is Harley the Saluki from Sweden. In comes the Afghan Hound from Canada, Kiefer. We should be seeing the Doberman from Argentina. I don't quite know what the delay is. Here we have the Doberman from Argentina, Alex, followed by the Australian Shepherd from the USA, Reckon. Here comes the unusual Xoloscuintli from Mexico, Cavalos. From Hungary, the Tibetan Terrier, Picasso. From Croatia, Vigo, the Kerry Blue Terrier. All the way from Australia, Conrad, the Hungarian Poodle. From the United Kingdom, the Lhasa Apso, Elizabeth.
the toy Poodle, the FCI Asian section show.
From Japan, it's Walker, the toy poodle.
The Smooth Fox Terrier,
Here comes Dodger, the Smooth Fox Terrier from Brazil. And finally, from Russia, the Scottish Terrier, Rico. Now, I've watched some Eukanuba World Challenge finals in the past few years. We've always marveled at the quality that comes through to the final, but I think I can safely say that this year we have absolutely topped what we've seen in past years. 12 beautiful dogs, 12 wonderful examples of their breed, and I certainly don't envy Enrique Filippini the task of ending up with one winner. But he has a big smile on his face, and I'm sure he is thrilled with the 12 dogs that have come forward to him. First out is Harley, the Saluki, a 5.5-year-old male whose official name is Shiraz, California Dreamin'. Although he's representing Sweden, where he's a big winning dog, he was actually bred in California. He's being handled by Nicholas Eriksson, who co-owns him with wife Ingun. He was bred here in the States, as I said, by Michelle and Eleanor Edwards and Valerie Nunes Atkinson. He has titles in the USA, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Slovenia, Slovakia. And this is actually the third time consecutively that Harley has appeared in the Eukanuba World Challenge. This is Kiefer the Afghan, otherwise known as Michael Sikani of Procyon, representing Canada, owned by Cheryl Wallach and handled by Will Alexander. A 5-year-old male. He was number 1 all breeds in Canada in 2010. The first ever Afghan to take that title in Canada. Twice he's won the Canadian National. He's an American and Canadian Grand Champion. And he shares his time living with owner breeder Cheryl and handler Will. Next out is the Doberman Alex. Alex de Aikido-san, representing the FCI America section qualifying show. He's based in Argentina, a 6.5-year-old male being handled by Miguel Vera. And if you think he looks slightly familiar, you can be forgiven, because at the Eukanuba World Challenge last year, judged by Carla Molinari from Portugal, it was Alex who stole her heart, and Alex who was the Eukanuba World Challenge winner overall last year. He's a grand champion of Argentina, Brazil, a champion in the USA, Uruguay, Chile, Mexico, Peru, Guatemala. That's Alex the Doberman, back this year, possibly for a second bite at the cherry. Now we have an Australian Shepherd. This is Propwash Reckon, being handled here by Judy Harrington, co-owned with breeder Leslie Frank. Reckon is 3.5 years of age, and he's representing the USA by virtue of the fact that this time last year he won Best in Show and $50,000 when he was Best in Show at the American Kennel Club National Championship. Reckon spent a brief time in Italy where he was very successfully shown by Richard Hellman. And now he's back home working well with Judy, who's having 2 busy days, obviously. She's going to be as fit as a flea after this weekend. From Mexico, we have a Xoloscuintle. This is Tecuman Cavalos, a 2-year-old male being handled by Jorge Flores, owned and bred by Hugo Avalos. He was actually reserve Best in Show at the World Dog Show in Paris. Born in Mexico, lives in Mexico. One of the rarer breeds to be seen winning at this level, the Xolo. And whilst at home, his favorite hobby is actually sleeping on his owner's lap. That's the Jolo from Mexico. On the table now, we have Picasso, the Tibetan Terrier, Atisha's Blanc de Noir, born in the USA but being campaigned from Hungary and owned by Eva Fujisheri. Now 6 years of age, he's being handled by Zoltano and was bred by Cheryl Rutledge Schultes. He's a multiple Best in Show winner, a multiple Best in Show specialty winner, was the world winner 2010, and in 2 years he's won 33 Bests in Show in 12 different countries. That's the Tibetan Terrier, Atisha's Blanc de Noir. We now come to the Kerry Blue Terrier from Croatia, Rolex Superhero, being handled by Ante Lucin for his proud owners Igor Mioch and Ivana Bilic. He was bred by Charlotta Mellin in Sweden. He's won Best in Show at many of the major shows throughout Europe. He's living in Croatia, and today he had the great honor to win Best of Breed here at the American Kennel Club National Championship when the breed was judged by Geir Flicht Pedersen. This is the Kerry Blue Terrier, Vigo, alias Rolex Superhero, who's certainly having a wonderful day today. So we're actually going to be seeing him competing further in the Terrier group later this evening. This is the Hungarian Poodle, Cordmaker, Field of Dreams, being handled by Linda Pitts for owners Sue Hubner, Jackie Baudins and Amy Peterson. Now 7.5 years of age. Conrad was actually born in the USA. He's an Australian Grand and American champion. And impressively, he has 2 consecutive wins of the group at the Westminster Kennel Club show in New York. He's the winner of 65 all-breed Best in Show and 4 Poodle Club American specialties. This is actually the 3rd time that a Cordmaker Poodle has competed in the Eukanuba World Challenge. And it was actually another Cordmaker that we saw in the herding group earlier. On the table now, we have the United Kingdom's representative. And this is the Lhasa Apso Zentar Elizabeth. Elizabeth is now 6 years of age. And this is one of the few dogs in the final 12 to be owner, bred and handled. Her owner and breeder being a very delighted Margaret Anderson, who comes from Warwickshire in England. Elizabeth won Best in Show at the British Utility Breed Show. She was 2nd in the group at Crufts earlier this year. And her owner, Margaret Anderson, has also won a Crufts Best of Breed with a Pomeranian years previously. So that's the United Kingdom's representative, the Lhasa Apso Zentar Elizabeth. Now, what would a Eukanuba World Challenge final be without a Smash Toy Poodle? Here's Toshi Omura handling Smash JP Moonwalk. Bred in Japan, he was campaigned in the United States by Kazazaka and is now back home with his breeder, Yukiko Omura. When in the States, Walker won 53 all-breed Best in Show, for his owners Ron Scott and Debbie Burke. Since being in Japan, he's continued on his Best in Show run with several Best in Show in Japan, and he was also Best in Show at one of the 4 night shows held in Split in Croatia. So he's a much-traveled little dog, and actually his sire, talk about, twice won the World Show in both Mexico and Denmark. Now, I'm sure you were wondering when you heard all the applause when Dodger came in, the Smooth Fox Terrier, Jacoby, Kimosabi, Vigilante Justice, why this crowd would be getting so excited about a dog from Brazil. The truth of the matter is that he has only recently been living in Brazil, and last year, the Smooth Fox Terrier, handled today by Amy Booth, was actually the #1 dog of all breeds here in the USA, with an incredible 184 Bests in Show. Yep, you can hear the applause in the background. The Americans obviously still love Dodger and aren't holding it against him that he's emigrated south to Brazil, where he's now owned by Victor Malzoni in partnership with Phil and Amy Booth. He was bred by William Darling and Stacy Turner. #1 all breeds in the States last year. #1 all breeds in Brazil this year. That's Dodger the Smooth Fox Terrier. And finally, as they say, but certainly it's a question of last, but by no means least, this is the Scottish Terrier from Russia, Felicity Brash Celebration. Another owner, bred and handled dog, Valentina Popova, is handling her 4-year-old Scotty male. Although this is the first time in the States, she's much traveled with him. She's won 28 All Breeds Best in Show all over Europe. Twice he was the world winner. And indeed, he was reserve Best in Show at Crufts, the largest dog show in the world. So that is the last of our 12. A dozen wonderful dogs of top quality. I'm sure everyone in the ringside has their own favorite. I'm certain that lots of the countries have support from their countrymen. Into the ring is brought the Swedish Saluki. And I suspect that Enrique is probably giving each dog one more chance to pull out all the stops, because when you're judging at this level, it's that little bit of extra performance that counts. Which of these dogs is actually going to come across and pull it off tonight? I interviewed Enrique Filippini yesterday, and I said, how on earth can you possibly separate dogs of this quality? And he said, I'm expecting to get some great dogs, but I'm expecting to get one who just looks into my eyes and says, take me home. Well, is it going to be the Doberman from Argentina who says, take me home? Or maybe the Australian Shepherd representing the USA? What do you reckon? The Xolo Squintly from Mexico. Not a breed you see very often winning at this level, but a dog that can certainly compete with the other breeds with much more hair and much more glamour when it comes to showmanship. The Tibetan Terrier from Hungary. As glamorous as they come. Certainly going through his paces. To be followed by the Kerry Blue, fresh from his Best of Breed win earlier today. Vigo, the Kerry Blue from Croatia, on his toes and certainly not tiring. The Poodle representing Australia. Conrad, 7.5 years of age, but showing like a 2-year-old with Linda Pitts. The little Lhasa Apso from the United Kingdom, Elizabeth with Margaret Anderson. Margaret was telling us earlier, this bitch just loves to show, and you can see exactly what she means. She's almost looking at the crowd for approval, but maybe it's Enrique Filippini that she should be trying to charm. She should be giving him that look, take me home to Argentina. Here comes Littell Walker. He had an incredible career in the USA. Now he's winning over Europe and Japan. Now he's back in the States to try his luck at the Eukanuba World Challenge. USA's #1 dog of all breeds last year, the Smooth Fox Terrier Dodger. He's moved south to Brazil, but he seems to like being back on home ground. And finally, the Scottish Terrier from Russia, Rico. A dog with a whole pile of best in show all over Europe and reserve best in show at Crufts. Each of these 12 dogs now having been given the opportunity to pull out the stops at the last minute. And Enrique Filippini, as is so typical of Enrique, is appreciating the dogs. He's applauding, encouraging the ringside to applaud. He's loving every moment of this. He's relishing the job. The first dog to be pulled out is actually going to be the first runner-up. And the first runner-up from the United Kingdom, the Lhasa Apso Elizabeth. I imagine Margaret Anderson is completely overcome. She was beside herself when she won the qualifying Champion Stakes final in the UK. The runner-up is the next dog to be selected. It's Walker, the white toy poodle. Walker, the white toy poodle, representing Japan, but he's had a great career in the United States. Well, it's going to be one of the remaining 10. I wonder who. Who's there pulling the stops out? Who gave Enrique Filippini that look?
The 2011 Eukanuba World Challenge champion.
A deathly hush descends. Oh no, he wants them all around one more time. No, he doesn't. He wants the winner around one more time. It's Prop Wash Reckon. It's the Australian Shepherd with Judy Harrington. My word. Reckon, the Australian Shepherd who came to the American Kennel Club show back from Italy just days before last year and walked off with a check for $50,000, comes back this year and wins the Eukanuba World Challenge. Judy Harrington must be over the moon. So congratulations to Judy Harrington, to Prop Wash Reckon. Congratulations to Walker, the toy poodle. Congratulations to Elizabeth, the Lhasa Apso.
And breeders around the world.
What a splendid, splendid Eukanuba World Challenge final. Judged with typical flair and a great sense of occasion by Enrique Filippini.